Okay, here we go with the Flavians. So the second dynasty of the empire, going from 69. So this was a year in which four emperors succeeded and died violently. The fourth one will be Vespasian. So the first member of the Flavian dynasty. And then the dynasty goes on till 96 CE. So again, here you have the principal Roman emperors. So you have the Julio-Claudians, the first dynasty, and the second dynasty, the Flavians, the Flavian dynasty, composed by Vespasian and his two sons, Titus and Domitian. So the building of the Colosseum was clearly a political statement on the part of Vespasian. Because it conveyed to the Roman people to overthrow the hated Nero, and Vespasian's interest in appealing to the broad mass of the Roman people. Why this? Because the Colosseum was built on the valley where a great part of the Domus Aurea, or the Golden House of Nero, was previously built. So destroying the house of the hated Emperor Nero and giving back to the people this part of Rome with a grandiose monument for their entertainment was for sure a political statement in appealing the broad mass of the Roman people. So Colosseum was called because of the big statue that continued to be in the area of Emperor Nero that was at the entrance of his golden house. Then the statue of Nero was replaced with the statue of Apollo, so it was the symbol of the sun, but it was a colossum, so a very huge statue. And so for this, the Romans called the nearby arena, amphitheater, Colosseum, but the original name was Flavian Amphitheater, Amphitheatro Flavio. And it was at the very center of the city, so this was meaningful too, and the largest ever built in the Roman Empire. And for sure, as we said many times, it is one of the greatest works of Roman architecture and Roman engineering. So, its construction started under the first emperor of this family, Vespasian, and was completed by his son Titus and inaugurated by him with 100 days of games. Then further modifications being made during the second son of Vespasian and third member of the family, Domitian. So Flavian Amphitheater, because the family name was Flavius, the gens Flavia. The family Flavia. That's why Flavian Amphitheater, Amphitheatrum Flavium. So, to introduce the other monuments by the family, the Triumphal Arch, we have to say this, remember this, is the most significant Roman contribution to art and architecture. Why this? Because unlike other Roman creations, the Triumphal Arch has at all no functional purpose per se. It is monumental, massive, and durable, and it does nothing more than announcing the arrival and entrance into the city of a great conqueror. And it will remain an everlasting monument to the passing of the supreme individual, generally the emperor in this time, for whom the arch was created. And the Romans fully appreciated this aesthetic discovery, the aesthetic discovery of the Triumphal Arch. And so, as was their custom, they repeated it wherever they could. So, it's difficult to overlook the fact that the powerful arches of other grandiose structures, as aqueducts, amphitheaters, go beyond their obvious function to provide a self-celebration of grandiosity. So, examples of triumphal arches are all over the empire. We have them in Rome with the Arch of Titus, the Arch of Septimius Severus, the Arch of Constantine, or in other cities of Italy, for example, the Arch of Trajan in the south in Benevento that you can see on the right. Or in other provinces, for example, another by Septimius Severus we have in Africa, and then by Hadrian, for example, in Athens. So, triumphal arches, we already said, were constructed usually by emperors or dedicated to emperors when they were dead. To commemorate great military triumphs, so to commemorate the emperor and the great military power of Rome. So, together with the Colosseum, other important monuments of this family, the Flavian family, are in the Forum. So, the Temple of Vespasian, for example, that was built by the third member and emperor of the family, Domitian, in honor of his father after it was deified after death. And then, together with his father, with his brother too, Titus. We have only 3 columns now, as you can see in the pictures, close to the Temple of Saturn, of which we have the frontal colonnade. So here you can see in both pictures on the right. And then at the entrance of the Forum we have the Arch of Titus, the second member of the family. If you remember, it's on the Via Sacra, at the entrance, eastern entrance of the Forum, and there was an arch to commemorate the victory over the Jews and the conquest of Jerusalem by Titus, and so was dedicated by the Senate and the people of Rome after the emperor's death and after his deification. As we said, the Arch of Titus provided the general model for many triumphal arches, even erected many centuries later, and especially since the 6th century on. Perhaps the most famous, so inspiring to the Arch of Titus is the Arch of Triumph in Paris, built by Napoleon in 1806. Then the third member was another hated emperor as Nero, for example, and in fact was assassinated, but he left his marks in the city of Rome. So, for example, we already mentioned Domitian Stadium, also known as the Circus Agonalis, because was dedicated to agones, used for athletic contests mainly, and it was located in the north of the Campus Martius, so near the Arapacis, the tomb of Augustus, the Pantheon, and was commissioned by this emperor as a gift to the Roman people. So you see another political statement. We already said that it used to stand where today is Piazza Navona. So that's why Piazza Navona is oval. So Piazza Navona is standing in which was once the interior arena, so the stage of the stadium. Stadium that we can call circus too. Then all the structures of the buildings that you can see in the reconstruction in the picture on the top are now incorporated, at least what remains of them, in the buildings of the piazza, the buildings surrounding Piazza Navona. Then Domitian erected a grandiose palace, that in Latin is Palatium, on the Palatine Hill. So the name palace comes from Palatine Hill, where Domitian built a palatium. So this palace was of great architectural innovation and was again to show his superiority, because Domitian was maniac of grandeur and used to call himself Lord and God and had others to do the same. So it's a celebration of himself. But it's too really a grouping, so a celebration of innovation in Roman architecture. Again, the master architects worked in it, and especially the architect Rabirius. So it is part of a vast residential complex of the Roman emperors on the Palatine Hill. We have seen, for example, the palace of Augustus, but then in other part of the Palatine there were the palaces of the other emperors of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, including the first residence of Nero. So it was completed by Domitian, as we said, and it's very well known for its grandeur, and divided in two parts. One part called the Flavian Palace, that was more commonly used for purposes of state. That in the picture here is this area to the top of the picture. Then the other part, called the Domus Augustana, so the house of the Augusti, of the emperors, is an enormous, lavishly ornamented palace that's south to the official part of the whole residence, and was the emperor's primary residence. So Domitian combined all the buildings there and built more on a grand scale. So turning the southern end of the Palatine Hill into one single vast palace, which served with a few changes and additions as the emperor's residence, so of all the future emperors living in Rome, until Constantine, the Emperor Constantine, hired off to his new capital in the east, so what is today Istanbul, that he called Constantinople in his name. And this happened in the early 4th century. So here you have different visions and a comparison in between the map and an aerial view of the very large complex of Domitian Palace. So here you have an axonometry of the imperial palace compared with the Circus Maximus. After its final expansion, the emperor's palace and associated temples more than covered the entire hill, the entire Palatine Hill. Then extensive vaulted substructures carried the weight of buildings around the edges, as you can see in this axonometry. Finally, Domitian, from his imperial residence, could watch the chariot races in the Circus Maximus. So this, as you know, was another edifice perfectly proclaiming the power of the Roman people and of the Roman emperors. So you can see through the red arrow from where Domitian and the emperors could watch races in the Circus Maximus in the valley below. Okay, so see you next week. Ciao.